In the bustling yet cozy town of Maplewood, nestled in the rolling hills of Ohio where red barns dotted the countryside and fireflies twinkled like tiny stars on warm summer nights, there lived a clever girl named Harper Ellis. Harper had bright green eyes that sparkled with ideas, bouncy chestnut curls that refused to stay tied back, and a mind that never stopped creating. She loved building things, tree forts, lemonade stands, and especially her inventions. At only 10 years old, Harper dreamed of one day creating gadgets that could help the whole town, like a machine that automatically watered gardens or a bike that could fly short distances on windy days. But one mistake changed how she saw herself forever. It happened during the annual Maplewood Maker Faire, the biggest event of the year where kids and adults showed off their creations in the town square. Harper had spent weeks secretly working on her greatest invention yet, the Super Spark Sprinkler. It was supposed to be a colorful fountain that shot sparkling, safe glittery water high into the air while playing cheerful music, making the fair even more magical. She had tested it many times in her backyard, and it worked perfectly every single time. On the morning of the fair, the square buzzed with excitement. Booths overflowed with handmade robots, painted birdhouses, and delicious homemade pies. Harper set up her Super Spark Sprinkler proudly in the center near the stage. Her best friend, Leo, a quiet boy with glasses and a notebook always in his hand, helped her connect the final hose. "This is going to be amazing, Harper," he said with a big smile. Harper felt a rush of pride. When the mayor announced the demonstrations, she turned on her invention with a confident flip of the switch. The crowd gathered close, oohing and ahhing. Water began to spray in beautiful arcs, sparkling under the sun. Music played. Everyone clapped. Then something went terribly wrong. One of the hoses Harper had rushed to fix the night before, because she had stayed up late perfecting the glitter mix instead of double-checking the connections, suddenly burst. Water shot out wildly in every direction, soaking the front row of spectators, short-circuiting a nearby robot display, and ruining several beautiful paintings that children had worked hard on all week. Glittery water mixed with mud, creating a slippery, sparkling mess across the square. The music sputtered and died with a sad whine. The crowd gasped. Some people laughed at first, thinking it was part of the show, but then the laughter turned to disappointed murmurs. The artists whose paintings were ruined looked heartbroken. One little boy started crying because his robot was now dripping and silent. Harper stood frozen, her face burning with shame as water dripped from her own curls. The mayor quickly turned off the main water supply, but the damage was done. Harper wanted the ground to swallow her whole. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, but her voice was lost in the chaos. Leo tried to comfort her, but Harper pushed him away gently. "It's my fault. I should have checked everything twice. I ruined the fair." From that day on, Harper carried the mistake like a heavy shadow. She stopped inventing. She avoided the town square. At school, when teachers asked for ideas, she stayed silent, afraid another mistake would hurt someone. Even at home, when her little brother asked her to build a simple ramp for his toy cars, Harper shook her head. "What if it breaks and he gets hurt? I can't risk it." The mistake replayed in her mind every night like a broken record. She replayed every wrong choice, staying up too late, rushing the hose fix, not testing one last time under pressure. Guilt grew heavier with each passing week. Harper's bright green eyes lost their sparkle. Her inventions gathered dust in the garage. She became quieter, more careful to the point of doing almost nothing at all. Her friends missed the old Harper who filled the air with wild ideas and laughter. Leo tried many times to pull her back into adventures, but she would only say, "I don't want to mess things up again." Her grandmother, a wise woman with silver hair who baked the best apple pies in Ohio and told stories on the porch swing, noticed the change. One golden autumn evening, as leaves swirled in the yard and the air smelled of wood smoke, Grandma sat with Harper on the swing. "My dear girl," she said gently, "mistakes are not anchors to drag behind you forever. They are teachers that visit for a short while and then must be allowed to leave. Carrying them too long only steals the joy from today." Harper hugged her knees. "But Grandma, I ruined everyone's hard work. How can I just let it go? What if I make an even bigger mistake next time?" Grandma smiled and handed her a small, smooth river stone from her pocket. This stone has been tumbled by the river for many years. It started rough and sharp, full of edges. But the water didn't punish it, it gently carried away the rough parts until the stone became smooth and beautiful. Mistakes are like those sharp edges. If you hold them tight, they cut you. If you let the river of time and kindness wash over them, they shape you into someone wiser and stronger. Harper held the stone tightly at first, feeling its smoothness. That night she placed it on her windowsill and stared at it for a long time. The weight in her chest felt a tiny bit lighter, but the shadow was still there. The real turning point came during the first snowfall of winter. Maplewood turned into a wonderland of white blankets and icy sparkles. The town announced a new Winter Wonder Build contest, a friendly competition to create something fun and useful for the community using recycled materials. Harper's class was excited, but she stayed quiet, doodling nervously in her notebook instead of sharing ideas. Leo noticed and sat beside her. "Harper, remember how we used to dream up crazy things together? The fair mistake wasn't the end. It was just one messy chapter. What if we build something together this time? We can check every single part twice, or 3 times." Harper hesitated for days. The fear of another mistake kept whispering in her ear. But one afternoon, while helping Grandma bake pies, she accidentally dropped an entire bowl of apple filling. Instead of getting upset, Grandma laughed warmly. "See? Even pies get messy sometimes. We just clean it up and try again. The pie still tastes sweet in the end." Something clicked inside Harper like a gear finally turning smoothly. She realized she had been treating her one mistake as if it defined her whole life. She took a deep breath and called Leo. "Let's do it," she said. "But we go slow and careful, and we forgive ourselves if something small goes wrong." Together, Harper and Leo began working on their project after school in the warm garage. They decided to build the cozy community lantern, a large, beautiful lantern made from recycled bottles and wood that would light up the town square during winter nights, powered gently by solar panels and small wind vanes. Every step, they checked and double-checked. When a bottle cracked during assembly, Harper felt the old panic rise, but she remembered Grandma's river stone. She took a deep breath and said, "It's okay. We learn and fix it." They replaced the bottle and kept going. As they worked, Harper started sharing her old ideas again, safer ways to test inventions, better ways to ask for help. Leo listened and added his careful notes. The fear didn't disappear completely, but it became smaller, like a shadow when the sun climbs higher. Weeks turned into a beautiful winter. The lantern slowly took shape, colorful, sturdy, and full of thoughtful details. When the Winter Wonder Build contest day arrived, snowflakes danced softly in the air. Harper felt nervous as they set up the lantern in the town square, the same place where her super spark sprinkler had failed. Many people remembered the glittery disaster and whispered, but Harper stood tall beside Leo. When it was their turn to demonstrate, Harper flipped the switch with steady hands. The cozy community lantern glowed warmly with soft golden light. Tiny wind vanes spun gently, making the colors shift like a peaceful rainbow. The crowd gasped, this time with delight. The lantern not only lit the square beautifully but also had a special compartment where people could leave kind notes for neighbors. It brought warmth and smiles on the coldest nights. The mayor awarded them first place, but more importantly, the townspeople clapped and thanked Harper and Leo for creating something that brought everyone together. The artists whose paintings had been ruined at the fair even came over with new paintings as gifts. "We all have messy days," one said kindly. "Your lantern makes up for it in the best way." That evening, as snow fell softly and the lantern glowed in the square, Harper stood with her family and friends. She pulled the smooth river stone from her pocket and whispered, "I'm ready to let you go now." She placed the stone gently at the base of the lantern, where it would be washed by melting snow and warmed by the light. The heavy shadow she had carried for so long finally lifted. Harper realized that carrying mistakes didn't protect her from future ones, it only stopped her from growing. Letting go didn't mean forgetting the lesson or pretending it never happened. It meant understanding that one messy moment didn't erase all her good ideas, her kindness, or her courage. Mistakes were part of the story, not the whole book. From that winter onward, Harper began inventing again, carefully, thoughtfully, and with joy. She still double-checked her work, asked for help when needed, and remembered to test things properly. But she no longer froze in fear. When small things went wrong, she cleaned them up, learned, and kept creating. Her bright green eyes sparkled once more. Leo became her steady partner in every adventure. The town of Maplewood watched with pride as Harper's creations brought smiles instead of disasters. Her little brother got the best ramps and forts, built with love and careful planning. Grandma's porch swing became the place where Harper shared new ideas and laughed about the great glitter flood without shame. And every time a new kid in town felt crushed by their own mistake, Harper would sit with them, hand them a smooth stone from the river, and tell her story. Because she had learned the most important truth of all: we all carry mistakes for a while. They teach us, they shape us, and then, when we are ready, we set them down gently so our hands are free to build brighter, kinder, and more wonderful things. In the end, Harper didn't become perfect. She became free. And in that freedom, her inventions, her friendships, and her joy grew stronger than ever before. The town of Maplewood glowed a little brighter, not just from lanterns, but from a girl who had bravely learned to let go. The fireflies still danced on summer nights, the red barn stood tall against the hills, and Harper Ellis walked through her days with a light heart, carrying lessons instead of burdens, and turning every past mistake into stepping stones toward a future full of sparkle, not from glitter gone wrong, but from courage that learned to shine.